Red Voyage News, splashing the check-in. Thank you for tuning in. And the topic of this article right here is, it's nothing serious, just lighthearted. Just wanted to talk about it for ish and giggles. I know right now all around the world there are natural disasters happening on this planet, but I just want to slow it down and talk about this. All right. And I'm also going to I'm going to tie in this topic with traveling abroad. Splash, how can you tie in a topic of this article right here into traveling abroad? Well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the correlation, all right, and what to expect. So just sit back and enjoy. Comedian Michael Blackson claims close friend Ben Simmons slid in his girlfriend's DMs during Sixers playoff run back on June 21st. Instead of trying to shoot his shot at his friend's women in the DMs, this was a tweet he posted on Twitter, he should be trying to shoot free throws. Now he shot himself out of Philly. And this was back when Philly was in the playoffs and they lost. They lost their playoff spot. Michael Blackson has gone on several different podcasts and radio shows talking about this exact topic right here. He even went on The Breakfast Club, and also on the episode of The Breakfast Club, he proposed to his girlfriend, which was really nice. And it was the same girlfriend that Ben Simmons was trying to get at. I guess her name is Rada. This is her right here. She's Cambodian. All right. Ben Simmons was in her DMs. All right. There was a quote from this podcast here. He said, me and Ben had a falling out not too long ago. Ben was in my girl's DMs. Here's the thing. Me and this guy was so cool and so close. I threw girls at him. I hooked him up, and this guy was still in my woman's DMs. She didn't want to tell me because she knew we were friends, but she had no choice but to tell me. Even when that happened, I stopped communicating with him. I didn't want to distract him from his play. And I'm like, if they win this series, I might forgive him. But then I lose. And I went and started blank his. All right, whatever. So you get my drift. He was upset. They were really good friends. He thought they were really good friends, but you know, friends don't do stuff like that. And one of the things he said, not only in another podcast that I watched, he also said it on The Breakfast Club. Michael Blackson said that Ben Simmons was on some light skin ish, and I would have to agree. Okay. Not only is it on some light skin ish, and let me tell you something about this before I continue. Let me give a disclaimer. Foundational Black Americans don't discriminate each other based on color. All right. We don't hold resources against each other based on color. We don't tell people that you can't sit with us because you're light skinned and I'm dark skinned. We don't tell people that you can't come over to our house because you're dark skinned and I'm light skinned. You can't sit at our table because you're dark skinned and I'm light skinned. We don't do that. Now, a lot of people in the Caribbean, African, and elsewhere communities, they complain about that, but that's they're projecting their insecurities onto foundational Black Americans. People who got two Black American parents who were born and raised in America, for the most part, the majority of them do not think like that. And let's get this straight. Michael Blackson and Ben Simmons both of them are immigrants. Michael Blackson is originally from Ghana and Ben Simmons is from Australia. Born and raised with one Black parent and one non-Black parent household. So the game isn't, when you're raised in a household with two foundational Black Americans, all right, there's a level of game and there's a code that you got to honor and respect amongst your mother and your father. And it pretty much, the code that they both have, for the most part, coincide with one another. They run parallel almost. I mean, if they're together. Now, if they split up, and she's running him through the ringer in family court, that's something totally different. But still, there's still a code. The do's and don'ts of what to do and what not to do around your parents and around other Black people for the most part. And when you slip up, you get checked. The community is going to check you. The thing about it is, when I notice in a lot of households where there's one Black parent and there's one non-Black parent, the code isn't really, passed down and taught to the children as much as a Black household, even a Black household with two light-skinned parents. You could have two light-skinned parents in a household. I mean, mentally, the children, they come out thinking, oh, I'm 100% Black. As a matter of fact, a lot of light-skinned black folks, especially when they got two light-skinned parents, they go harder for black issues than a lot of dark-skinned people out there. And I salute them. But when you got light-skinned people that come from, and this isn't a shot to anybody that's light-skinned or biracial, but the game, like the children themselves, they have identity issues because they see, okay, I got a black parent, but I got a white parent. I was almost white, but this parent, my black parent, messed it up for me. So I don't reap the benefits of a white person, of my mother or of my father if he's white. I'm getting treated like my black parent. So, at a very young age, a lot of biracial kids, they know where they stand in different communities. They know where they stand in the white community, in the Asian community, in the Hispanic community. They know, okay, you're not one of us. Not to say that you can't have one of us as a friend, but you're not one of us, and we're going to have to remind you. Because naturally, they want to gravitate more towards the dominant side of whatever half of the race is. So and they feel like, okay, whatever the non-black gene is in my body, in my DNA, I want to gravitate more towards that because they get treated better than the black side. They get treated better. They get more resources. They have businesses. They have stuff going on for themselves more so than the black side of me. And they subconsciously kind of express this within their actions, and they get a Negro wake-up call all the time. But then a lot of times when they get around blacks, they start bragging about how half this and half that they are. Oh, and in my culture, my Asian culture, my white culture, my Hispanic culture, this is what we do. In my Native American culture, this is what we do. You blacks need to get it together. It's like they almost look down. They come around blacks because that's the only people that will claim them since they're half black. But it's like they almost look down and talk down to them. Not all, but a lot of them. So when they come over there, when they come over to the black community talking like this, acting this way, they also get a wake-up call. Then that's when they run around talking about, oh, blacks can be racist too. But you just sat here and insulted my people when your father is one of our people. But since you think, okay, you're other, then don't come over here anymore. And I'm not saying everybody expresses themselves like that, but mentally, it's there. It's like, I was almost white if it wasn't for him or her. And plus, he was raised in Australia. So it's like the unwritten rules isn't the same over there as it is over here. It's the same way with Drake. When Drake, the rapper, singer Drake first came into the game, he was struggling for years to make it in the industry. I mean, he was there. He had the talent, but a lot of people didn't like him because he was always doing goofy shit. And in these households, you got these parents that don't really, when you're around your own people, you let your hair down more. You got a lot of males out here who get with non-black women that don't really like to, they feel like if I black it up too much in the household, they won't like it. They're going to leave me. So they're pretty much black it up enough to where the woman finds it attractive, but they don't black it up enough to where the woman will reject it. Because at the end of the day, a lot of these non-black women, they still think in terms of their race, their people, the dominant society. They can still get out of bed and still practice racial discrimination against your people at any given moment in time. And we've seen this over and over again. So for a lot of black men, they feel like, okay, in order for me not to lose access to white sex, to Asian sex, to Native American sex, to Hispanic sex, and everything else in between, I'm not going to black it up too much. So the game doesn't really get passed down 100% from the father. It's toned down. And on top of that, the mother ain't really passing the game down to the son neither. She's passing down white privilege game to him. Asian privilege, Hispanic privilege game. Well, I mean, which if you Google the term white, who's considered white, it's pretty much everybody except black people. That's it's pretty much so they passing down white privilege game down to their half black child, and it doesn't work for them. That's why a lot of times they go out in the world talking and thinking the way they do. You know, and you go to Japan, right? Japan is real big on this. You see a lot of brothers out there, like on New Year's in Japan, the Japanese, they have a tradition where they go to different shrines and they'll pray and do little rituals in front of these shrines around Japan on New Year's. I forget what it's called. They might wear cultural garments. They might not, but they perform different rituals. And you'll see foreigners there. You'll see black folks there. I've never been to one. I've been to a shrine. I didn't pay homage to the shrine. I just took pictures of it, but I've never been to a shrine on New Year's in Japan. Okay. I just went to a regular day out the year because I was visiting. I just wanted to take pictures. But you'll see these brothers out there with, you know, Japanese cultural head wraps, those little bandanas they tie around their forehead, the sensei bandanas, you know, they'll wear these, I guess you call them kimonos or whatever. They'll have on, you know, a katana. They're animate out. They got a bunch of, as a matter, I've seen black folks join in on different, you know, cultural Japanese parades. They'll perform different rituals in the parades. And these are guys that are 100% black from America. They're in the parade with all the Japanese people. You're like, what is he doing there? Dressed up as them, doing the rituals. I saw one parade where like they were carrying some big log. I don't know what it's called that they were doing, but there's a black guy from the chat room in there doing that. And it was kind of like, okay, all right. So we all talked about, okay, why don't you wear some African cultural garments? You know, why don't you study something from your roots? Why don't you join in the African parade? He's like, why the hell would I do that? And everybody just wrote him off as a coon. I mean, he's not in the chat room no more. And these are a lot of brothers that you see across the globe. Not all, but a lot, especially in Japan, especially out here in Asia in general. Remember when I was in Thailand, there was a black dude. He had on this chain and the pendant was like a locket. In the locket, it had the face of King Bhumibol in there. That threw me off. I'm like, okay. You know what these people think about you, but okay. And these guys, they have children. They pass this defeated, insecure, worthless mindset to their children. They have no pride in their own community, own culture. I mean, they've given up. They've thrown it all the way. And that's where you have, you know, kids like that. I'm not saying Ben Simmons is like that, but anybody born and raised in America, you know, okay, you know better than to do that. If they do that, more than likely you're out the picture. If they do that, it's like you went to jail or you weren't around for a little while and you got deployed or you went to summer camp or something. It's like you were gone for a little while and then your friend, I'm not saying that friends don't hook up with each other's girls in America, but it's how they do that. You're actively this person's friend in a playoff game in your girl's DMs, in your friend's DMs, your alleged friend's DMs. And it's kind of like, I mean, all the girls in the world that you can get, you were with a Jenner. You were with the Jenner. You know, the Jenners and the Kardashians, they like black meat. But the thing is, it's like you're dealing with somebody who probably doesn't think he's all the way black. And on top of that, he's not from America. So you're not getting that black American game. You know, the Jenners and the Kardashians, they don't get with, you don't see them with immigrants. You see them with black Americans. And that Jenner that was dating him, she knew, okay, this ain't FBA black. This is Australian I'm confused as to who I am. Boomerang kangaroo, a poisonous spider black. He didn't grow up under the code of black culture that you are used to seeing or that you like. And another thing is a person like a Ben Simmons, especially being who he is, it's like he looks at Michael Blackson like, it ain't even about his girl. Like, yeah, he finds his girl attractive, but it ain't even about that. It's like, who the hell does this dark-skinned Negro think? I mean, he's like, okay, I'm cool with him, but when you hang around some of these light-skinned cats, especially biracial, a lot of them will hang out with you as long as they feel like they got more drip and they pulling more holes, and the quality of holes they pulling are better than yours. As long as their life is going, they think in terms of the dominant society too. It's like, as long as you're doing a little bit less than me in life, then I'll accept you as my friend. But it's like, okay, damn, this guy's doing it, and this guy's woman is attractive. It's like, and him? Oh no, who does he think he is? I mean, this guy has an Instagram page full of people creating memes talking about how ugly he is. So I mean, and a lot of light skinned cats, they think they pretty. So it's like, I mean, I'm pretty. I'm a bad bitch, so I know I could take his woman. I'm light skinned. What the fuck she doing with an ugly dark skinned African cat like that? That's how they think. And I'm telling you, they don't think in terms like a black American. They think in terms as an immigrant that grew up in an area with no code. You go to Canada, there are guys out there moving like this. You go anywhere out here in Asia, you got guys out here thinking just like this, moving like this. Europe, there are guys out there thinking and moving like this. Brothers in America, they know better. They know better. Like, if I'm gonna get at your girl, I'm gonna let it be known that, okay, we're not really friends like that, and more than likely you're gonna be out the picture for a little while, and that's gonna give me time to sneak in. Or you guys broke up. I'm telling you, when I see shit like this, when I hear about shit like this, I just think back with Drake. When Drake was in the music game, people were slapping him, punching him, pissing on him because he was just literally pissing on him because people are like, okay, this is a black dude, because they don't understand. A lot of guys don't travel, so they don't understand how black, they think everybody black outside of America probably thinks like them, and such is not the case. They don't have a code. They feel like, okay, I grew up with half of my household of white privilege, so I feel like I should be privileged enough to get better than what you got. Who does he think he is? Like, I'm better. I look better. Like, I have light skin magic. Light skin magic. I'll take this darkie's girl. I'll take this spear chucker's girl. That's how they think, man. But anyways, not saying everybody, but a lot. Okay. If you want to hear more, all right, if you want to support this channel, you like the content that I'm posting up, click the link in the description box below. It'll redirect you to this page right here, my buymeacoffee.com page. Hover over the support tab. You can, quote unquote, buy me a coffee, which means donate. The minimum amount you could donate is $5. But if you would like to become a member and receive even deeper game, talking about traveling and living abroad, the things that you do not hear on YouTube that most travelers aren't talking about, you can check out any one of my 9 videos that I have posted up. More videos. I post up videos every weekend. Okay, I just posted up a video yesterday. All right, $8 a month. Okay, sign up, buymeacoffee.com, or just send a little donation. I'm over and I'm out. Peace.